Hi guys, today is 19th of May 2025 and I am trying to do the parking to parking test with the XOS 5.6.0 8909. We're in a parking situation now, and so I will set up the destination, and we will see if we could definitely get there without any sort of hiccups. Hopefully it does work. And this is sort of it. We locked in with regards to the route. So all I need to do certainly is just hit the lever down to let us go. If that works, that seems not to work. Trying a couple of times, so sort of we need to get out first. Okay, so now that we are out, I will activate it.
Day mode is active.
So from standstill, in a parking spot, we seem to have challenges trying to pull out. We've seen this challenge in my two parking spots, and it seems to be prevalent for this specific scenario with regards to my use of the car. So while it was worse in the 5.5.0, it seems it's sort of like it's improved, but it's still not exactly very fine-tuned. So hopefully that happened. It seems to be the same case now, as centering is not very well sort of set up. I need to sort of brake because there was a car getting in. I'm particularly interested in being able to go through seamless into the underground parking in my destination. The last time we tried, it was not very successful all through. We had to disengage somewhere along that journey, and then re-engage once we got into the underground parking entrance. So this time around, I'm going to try to see if it can do the whole journey, and let's effectively observe to see if there's a difference. Hopefully this audio is also clearer. I did a bit of a tweak with regards to my camera setup, and so I'm hoping that well, again, we come into a zebra crossing and the car is slowing down aggressively, which is not very sort of a smooth experience. It's almost like what the bus drivers do when bus drivers are actually put on the road or given their fleets to ride. There is a camera observing them, and they have to abide to or sort of stick by a strict code. That code includes coming almost to a grinding halt on a zebra crossing. Not all the drivers, especially drivers that are effectively coming to the role new, will be required to observe that sort of road road regulation, or indeed that sort of road discipline. So it's almost like it's the same thing that's happening here for certain zebra crossing, not exactly for all of them, but for certain zebra crossing, the car seems to almost come to a grinding halt before it picks up again, even if there's no one crossing the street, or if there's no perceived human crossing, or motorist, or even a cyclist crossing the street. So it ends up with sort of a very disconnected, almost like you're in a bus, or you're one of those public buses. But let's see if it continues to be, we see any of the other traffic lights on the route having a similar experience. But so far on that section of the road that we just came through, I've seen it, persistently behaving that way. That section of the road actually has less humans on it than any other road. See this one, this zebra crossing is just going through, and this zebra crossing actually is a much more busier zebra crossing that I would have expected that it would try to slow down, observe some sort of protocol there before it picks up, but it just goes through. But the other zebra crossing that are completely in a remote section of the path or the route, with less human traffic, seems to be the one that actually, this is also another zebra crossing we just had now, and it was pretty much smooth. It just went through. There was nobody there that would be crossing the road. Technically speaking, you could effectively continue the journey without necessarily needing to come to a grinding halt. As I indicated, I've observed this inconsistency by way of behavior is prevalent in it was prevalent in the 5.5.0 or even the 5 series or the 5.0 series, and even before the 5 series. But now it is consistently bugging me, because it really leads to some, for instance, this zebra crossing right ahead of us, it's not slowing down. It's just going through, and you can see this is a much more busier section of the road, because you can see cars packed left, right, and also it's a school area, and that information is available from the mapping data set, right? That this is a school area, a residential area as well. So it can and it should observe that sort of protocol. We just went through another zebra crossing there, and it didn't slow down drastically. So the condition of slowing down drastically when it comes to setting zebra crossing is almost like something that will be pre-programmed or bad training data set. Someone is not cleaning the data set very well before using the data to train the model. Otherwise, if that's not the case, we're coming on to another zebra crossing. Let's see if it does the slowdown. It is not slowing down. So again, it's sort of very unique or peculiar to certain parts of or certain routes or certain conditions that are still not very clear to me. The explainability is one thing I always look out for. When I can explain something, I can tell the data set, and again, it's slowing down this one and then picking up again. When there is explainability for certain behavior, you can understand, of course, the training data set was perhaps was of a higher quality. We're coming on to another zebra crossing. Let's see if it slows down. It is not. It's just going through. There are 2 more zebra crossing ahead of us. Let's see if it would slow down. Well, this is an intersection, by the way, so I expect it to at least do some slowdown. But the zebra crossing, it just went through. There's another zebra crossing. It's just gonna go through. So technically speaking, I find it very challenging having to explain, the other scenarios. I can only say that the data set was not very well cleaned before it was applied. It's trying to turn here because every morning I do this particular scenario, but I'm asking it to ignore it so that we can just go straight. Okay, so I decided to disengage over there, and now it's auto re-engaged now. Yeah. So so I suspect that the training data set is not very good for zebra crossing. There hasn't been very good governance put on, zebra crossing scenarios, which ends up with that disconnected experience. This is another zebra crossing. It's not slowing down. Of course, the speed limit on this road is 50, and it's doing just about 45. It's now up and up. It's now up to 50 now. There's a zebra crossing ahead of us. Let's see if it does the same thing, even though there's a cyclist that's in front of us that we need to sort of watch out for. Yeah, so this is zebra crossing. It's just smoothly going through. And all of these zebra crossing that is going through, the speeds that it's using are nothing different from, those other ones. So that's always something that I cannot explain. And once, explainability is a problem, then clearly the data set wasn't well controlled. There wasn't enough sort of logic put into the data set before using that to train the model. It needs to turn here because this is our turning. There are folks packed on the left and right sides of the of the road, but it's able to effectively find the right entrance. It is on the wrong path. Now it needs to change lane to the right lane. And that's a perception problem, given that it could have perceived the road correctly, but it did not. It's coming on to the the electronic toll, and the idea is to see if it can find its way well without necessarily getting to rub those those cones. Well, we managed to go through that, although it wasn't very smooth. It's centering to go through the electronic tool wasn't very good. So I hope that again is something that can be improved. We're underground now, and needs to find its way to our parking spot. All right, so we're coming up to our driving, at the end of our driving, and this is my parking spot. It's been able to do it. It will now engage the parking module, and then execute the parking protocol. The algorithm for parking needs some improvement also, because I could have done that, you know, parking in one swoop without doing, you know, another pull forward before coming back. But those are little, you know, corner cases or tweaks that could be handled easily. The most important things now, given the experience of this journey, clearly the fact that, you know, how it perceives, how it plans is still something that is still behind the industry best, and hopefully, you know, those can be improved in future releases. Well, thank you very much for that. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers. Bye bye.